everyone, I'm Sofi Morales and this is Sofi's Tips. For those of you who have never seen Sofi's Tips before, let me briefly explain what this channel is about. We talk about all kitchen appliances. We do reviews, unboxings, how-to videos, recipes, everything that you need to make the most of those kitchen appliances that you have at home. And if for some reason you still haven't decided which one is the right for you, don't worry because we talk about different brands, different options and formats, so you can decide according to your needs and budget. Today, I'm very excited because we're gonna try for the first time a COSORI Air Fryer. This is the TurboBlaze 6 quarts basket air fryer, which promises to be quicker than other air fryers. It has different functions that will help us give us quicker results. I am very excited to see if this is gonna happen or not, so let's try it out. We're gonna do the unboxing, we're gonna prepare it for the first use, and we're gonna make a couple of experiments to see how they turn out. So let's get started, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe. This really helps us out so we can continue uploading new videos. It is totally free and you just have to click on the subscribe button. The first thing we're gonna do is open the box to see how it comes and what accessories are included in this air fryer. After taking everything out of the box, I can tell you this is everything that comes in the box. We have the air fryer with its basket, the crisper tray, and it comes with a recipe book. This is a really big recipe book, so I'm really excited. It says that it comes with at least 50 recipes, and I kind of glanced through it and I can tell you that it's not only air fryer recipes, but it gives you recipes for the different programs or functions that this air fryer has. So that's gonna be very interesting. We also have its user manual, this quick guide that it is actually a sticker, so we can paste it wherever you want. And it kind of gives you a quick look. I like that if you're thinking about making something, for example, it talks about chicken. If I want to put chicken in and I don't have the user manual in hand, then I can look at the temperatures and the times. Besides that, the programs, all of them have their temperature and their times that are recommended for each function. So you could start with that as well. It comes with this card for you to contact the brand. You can register your product. If you have any problems with the product, you can also contact them. Plus, they have their own app. So if you download the app, you have access to even more recipes. And I love the fact that everything comes in an envelope, just like a card or a gift. Everything like, it's this official documents for your air fryer. That's a nice detail. Not a lot of brands take their time to think about am I gonna bring everything to my customer. I like that. And now that we've seen everything that comes in the box, we're gonna talk a little bit about the actual air fryer, the functions that it has and how it works before we use it for the first time. Physically, I can tell you that I like the size, that it has a great capacity. We're gonna try that out. Today we're gonna do some chicken wings to see how many of them I can fit in here. Due to the great capacity, sometimes air fryers can be bulky and can be hard to find a place where to put them. In this case, it takes up not a lot of space, I can tell you that. And I like the finish. It has this kind of matte, black matte finish. It's nice to the touch, so I like that as well. And one last thing that I wanna say about the placement of your air fryer is that you wanna make sure, in this case, this is a very powerful air fryer. The TurboBlaze has a lot of air and a lot of heat that is gonna help us to cook faster, but also we have to be aware of that. So it has a warning back here that we have to make sure that we do at least 5 inches of space in between the back of whatever you're doing and the actual air fryer. And I would also recommend leaving some space in between the air fryer on the sides, just to make sure that if you have something that is too close, it might get also hot. So you want to leave some space here as well. Now that we talked about that, let's talk about the actual machine. It is really easy to operate. The only thing that we have to do to open the air fryer is to click on this button right here. The handle has a button on the top. So you click on that one and you pull. This is gonna take out the basket, and you can put your food in here, and the crisper plate is optional. So it's depending on which function you're gonna use, is if you need it or not. For example, if you do an air fry function, you might need it. But if you're doing a proofing function or a bake function or a reheat, you might not need it. So it all depends on the recipe and what you're actually doing. And to put it back in, you just place it back in, click on the button again, and this will put it back in. If you don't click the button, the basket will not open. So you want to make sure that you click on that. Now, let's look at the control panel. It's really nice and big. I love that. The first thing that you want to click is this one right here. This is the on and off button, which gives us the entire control panel lit. We see the different functions. We see a big screen here with the temperature and the time of cook. So that's good. And on the sides, we have arrows to change the temperature and the time. Also on the screen, you can see the fan speed. So depending on what function you're gonna use, it has different levels for the fan. The first one that you have here is the preheat function. This is something that I always recommend. When you're using air fryers, it is always good to preheat your air fryer. This helps you to bake or cook quicker. Plus, it gives you a homogeneous finish. So it kind of gives everything, since it is already warm in there, it gives an even finish touch on all of the things that you're cooking. It has 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 minutes. If your recipe has a different temperature, you can change it for that, but you don't change the 4 minutes. That's the preheat time, 4 minutes. Then we have the reheat function. This actually substitutes a microwave. It is really cool. The only thing that I want to note on that function is that you want to make sure that whatever you put in here has to be oven safe. So either the tray or the plate or whatever you're putting in here has to resist enough heat to be able to be in there. Otherwise, it might break. Now we have the dry function. That dry function is totally different from other functions because it is a really low temperature for a really long time. This I use for dry fruit, for example. I love to do that. Mangoes is my favorite, but you can do any fruit, veggie, even meat. If you like dried meat, you can do that at home as well. And then we have the bake function, which substitutes an oven. This is in hand with the proof function. So if you're making your own bread, you want to leave the actual dough to rest depending on the recipe, and this gives you the ideal temperature for proofing. It kind of substitutes a bread machine as well. So if instead of having an oven and a bread machine, you can just have this air fryer, and that's really cool. We have the keep warm function. This one is if you have everything ready to eat and if for some reason you're not gonna eat right away, you just click on that one and it will keep your food warm for some time. Now, the ones here at the bottom are the turbo modes. These are the functions, the programs that are gonna help us to cook even quicker than other air fryers. We could do an air fry function. We could use the roast function, we could use the broil function, and we could use the frozen function. Frozen is if you're using any of those foods that you would buy already ready to eat, but from the freezer. Just put that in there and it's ready. All of them have different temperatures, different fan speeds, and different times. But if you're not sure and you want to see more of a guide or a cheat sheet of what to use depending on what you're cooking, you go to the recipe book, and at the end it has some pages with a table that gives you different times and temperatures and which function to use depending on what you're cooking. Once you select the function that you're gonna use, you just hit the play button right here and it starts cooking. It tells us right here at the top that it is cooking. And if you're doing something that you have to turn in the middle of it, or you have to add another ingredient and you want to open the air fryer, you can pause it by clicking the same button. It will tell you right here that it is paused, so your program will still have the temperature that it needs, and it will still be counting the time that it needs. The only thing that you do is pause, then you can open the air fryer, add, move, shake, whatever you're gonna do, and then put it back in. And then you click on it again, and it will continue the program that was doing previously. So once you're done, you would hit the on and off button, and it's done. It's that easy. Now that we know how it works, let's prepare it for the first use. I'm gonna clean the basket, clean the crisper plate, and just clean everything around to be able to use it. I'm gonna make 2 experiments. The first one is gonna be chicken wings. So I wanna see how many chicken wings we can fit in here. And the second thing I wanna do is see how it bakes. To see if we can have an even finish, I'm gonna prepare some chocolate chip cookies. What I did was very simple. All I did is put the chicken wings marinating in a buffalo sauce for 30 minutes. After I did that, I preheated the air fryer using the preheat function with the time and temperature that comes as a default, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 minutes. After the 4 minutes have passed, I distributed the wings in the basket to see how many I could fit. There were 18 wings. For me, I think that's a lot of wings for a basket air fryer. And there was enough space in between the wings for air to flow so we could have an even cook. So I put them in the air fryer and used the air fry function. I based the times and temperatures with the cheat sheet that comes in the recipe book. So it was 395 degrees Fahrenheit for 16 minutes. After the 16 minutes passed, I plated them with some celery and ranch sauce. And this was the result. I actually opened one before I tasted them, and it was juicy in the inside and crispy on the outside. And once I took a bite, I can tell you it was delicious. It was honestly the best chicken wing I ever tried in an air fryer. And I've tried a bunch of them, so I can really tell you it was really nice. It was not dry from the inside, which is really cool. It was evenly cooked, and in the outside, the crisp was so crispy, so crunchy that I really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed it so much that I took a break and I actually ate them all. Once I finished eating, I made the second experiment. The second experiment, I wanted to try the bake function. I wanted to see how even it was, to see if I was able to cook cookies in this case. So I did my chocolate chip cookies. This is a recipe that I really enjoy doing. It is really easy. I actually haven't showed you that one in the channel yet. So tell me in the comments, do you want to know how to make chocolate chip cookies in the air fryer? Let me know in the comments so I can show you how to do them step by step in this air fryer. After putting all the ingredients in the mixer, I chilled the mix for about half an hour, and then I formed the actual cookies. There were small cookies, 25 grams each, so it's maybe half the size of a regular cookie. And I was able to fit 9 cookies in the basket. 9 cookies in the basket, even though they're small, they're still 9 cookies. So I can tell you that I've done this recipe in other air fryers, and I'm not able to put more than maybe 5 or 4 of them. So for me, I can tell you it has a bigger area where you can cook and you can bake. So that's a really cool thing. To bake the cookies, what I did is kind of base off one of the recipes of the recipe book. First, I preheated the air fryer using the preheat function, but I moved the temperature to 330 degrees Fahrenheit. When I did this, I noticed something that was very interesting. Instead of having 4 minutes, it went down to 3. So it's kind of smart in a way that once it knows what temperature it needs, then it adjusts the time that it does not need so much preheating time. So that was kind of cool. Once it finished preheating, I put some parchment paper that every time you're baking in an air fryer, I recommend adding some parchment paper. It just helps to have an even cook. And I put the 9 cookies in. After that, I used the bake function for 7 minutes at 330 degrees Fahrenheit. After the 7 minutes, I pulled out the basket and I left the cookies to cool in the rack. Once the cookies cooled down, I took one of them to see, and it was soft in the inside and nice and golden in the outside, and all of them, as I could see while they were cooling down, they had the same result. So the same golden color up top, and then in the inside they were chewy. So that's the result I wanted for the cookies. One cool thing that I noticed is that when there was 1 minute left in the timer, it changed to seconds. So it started to count down the seconds that were left in the cook. I really like that because then I could be ready to take the things out of the air fryer just in time. Here you have it, the COSORI TurboBlaze Air Fryer. I really like the air fryer. I like the large capacity. I was able to fit in a ton of food. So we're talking about 18 wings and 9 cookies. That's for about a 4-person household. I think that's a good idea. And I like the fact that although it has a large capacity, it does not need a lot of room. So it's kind of compact, elegant for a basket air fryer. I like the finish, and I like the control panel was very intuitive. I think the times and the temperatures were precise, so I used 2 functions and both of them gave good results. One thing I did notice, and I do want to highlight that, is that it was very hot during both cooks. So the back does need that space. I really recommend those 5 inches in the back. I was able to put my hand here and I could still feel the hot air coming out of this part. So you have to just be aware of that. Other than that, I think it's a great air fryer. Tell me in the comments, do you want to see something in particular in this air fryer? Do you want to make any experiments? Do you have any questions? Just let me know. I love reading your comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more recipes like this. And I'm going to leave you at the end of this video a playlist with all the air fryers that we have tried in the channel. See you next time. Ciao!